you've shot some dope photos. You edit them, they come out great. You upload them to Instagram and they lack something that the best photos have. In this video I will give you the 2 secret steps to nailing Instagram quality. And it's not a preset. These tips work for all photos on all social media, not just for Instagram, but for YouTube thumbnails, blog articles, tweets and everything. I am no Instagrammer by any means, but I use these techniques every day, both personal and for my professional work. I thought to make a series of some of the best photo and video tips I've picked up and combined over the past couple of years, and the ones I actually use. So be sure to subscribe to get the full set. And it really helps to support the channel if you would please like this video. Thank you. The thing to understand first is how we view media. My first computer monitor was my parents' TV in the living room. It was 28 inches. Then my first real separate monitor, I think it was 17 inches. Then I moved to laptops with displays of maybe 13 to 16 inches. Then we viewed media horizontally on maybe 5-inch displays. But now we're too lazy to even do that, and we usually consume media like this on a display that is 2.8 inches wide. I'm partly responsible for this deterioration with the whole smartphone revolution, so I'm sorry about that. Good news is that I think this is the bottom, and we will move upwards to maybe 100-inch virtual displays in the next few years. But right now, we view media on tiny displays that's maybe 2 or 3 inches wide. And then most good conventional advice is now wrong. What we need to do, the trick, is to simplify the picture much more. And we will do this in 2 steps. Step number 1 is to brighten the parts that you want the viewer to look at and darken the rest. I'm going to use Lightroom for this, but you can do this step with any software, including on your phone. So if we take this picture that I snapped of this amazing lady on the streets here in Stockholm, I asked her if I could take a photo and she said, "Oh, when I look like this, I'm just out to throw the trash." If she looks this fabulous when throwing the trash bag, imagine what she will look like when dressed up. What amazing people there are, just love it. Quite good straight out of the camera, I'll just apply a preset. We crop it for whatever ratio the target platform is. In this case, Instagram is 4:5. We press the X key in Lightroom to flip to vertical. Now I'll darken the background with a brush. Reduce the exposure, the highlights, maybe put little blue in the temperature to separate it further. And then I lighten up the main parts of the photo where we want the viewer to look, which is the lady. That's it, now I save this. Personally, I prefer not to use the Edit in Photoshop option. Instead, I save a separate file, like a master file, and I use the Photoshop format in 16-bit. Now we open it in Photoshop. Learning a few moves in Photoshop has been maybe one of the best return of time invested in the history of computer programs. The first version came out in 1990 and it's still the best today 30 years later. Now, step 2 is to sharpen only the parts we want the viewer to look at, not the rest. That will further simplify the picture and draw the eye straight to the key parts of the picture. Let me first show you what happens if we take the file straight into Instagram and add sharpening. It looks like this. Not nice, it kind of destroys the photo, it distracts, makes it more complicated, not the professional look we want. So instead, back to Photoshop. Now, since this is useful for every photo, let's record these actions in Photoshop. Make sure this action panel is open, otherwise open it here. To start a new recording, press the plus symbol here. First we want to make sure we are in the same mode as we will export in. So edit, convert to profile, sRGB, and image mode set to 8-bit. Now when viewed on these small phone screens, it's useful to pop it a little bit extra, so we add an extra S-curve here on almost all photos. Resizing has to happen before sharpening, so image size, and we set it to the Instagram size, which is 1080 wide. Then we press Stamp Visible. On Mac, that's Shift Command Option E. On Windows, it's Shift Control Alt E. It kind of copies everything onto a new layer. Then we press Convert to Smart Object. Then we do Filter, Other, High Pass, and we set this to 1.8 pixels for this size. Then we change Blend Mode to Overlay. We add the layer mask. We call this layer Sharp. Then we copy this high pass filter and we call this one Extreme Sharp. And double click here and set this one to 3.5 pixels. That's an extreme sharpening. Then we do default colors, that's D on the keyboard. Then we select the mask, and on Mac we press Command Delete, on Windows Control Backspace. That clears this mask, so nothing is extreme sharp when we start. Then we select the layer we call Sharp, switch colors with the X on the keyboard. We select the brush, set the brush to about 300. And here we stop recording. Now we've already prepared, so we can remove the parts that we don't want sharpened at all. So I just paint here now, removing the background, the hat. Then we select the extreme sharpening, and here I'm going to paint in the eyes, the lips, the rose, and these straps. That's it. Here you can see before, after. Now we will export this. When exporting to Instagram, it's important that the file size is not too big, because if it is, they will reduce it, and they reduce it much harder than we will do. So I've had good success with quality 73, so that's what I set. I can actually not see any difference. Then the file size goes down quite a bit. Then if we upload this, it looks great. It really pops out, it really looks great. And if you compare the quality of the export, if I flip from the photo before I uploaded it and how it looks on Instagram, I cannot see any difference here. So we came below file size threshold where Instagram will start messing with our photos. So that was good also. And now since we recorded all those actions, if we take another photo, we can just press play. So let's take this amazingly cool Swedish dad that I saw at the same time as that lady. We just press play here, and we get all those actions done. Now again, we want to remove the sharpening from the parts that we don't want sharpened at all. And then we add a little extra extreme sharpening to some details of the photo. Look how badass he looks. So cool, dad. I think we want to have more sharpening on all these dope details that he has here. And the center of this picture is really the guy, so maybe we remove sharpening completely from this beautiful lady next to him. Pity, but again we simplify the picture, draw attention to the one main focus of the photo. Any photo that is viewed on the phone, darken and don't sharpen the parts that are not the center of the picture, and brighten and sharpen quite a lot the parts that's really the center of your picture. Please subscribe, like, and watch the next tip. Thank you very much. CTO LARSSON out. Hej då!